Mercedes 2019 CLA250 review. Gonna do a little walk around first just to show you guys the exterior. Got the aggressive front, signature Mercedes curves and aerodynamics. (18-inch) run flats. Favorite part about this car is the front. I think the front is very aggressive. I think it's awesome. I mean, when you park this car, you go into it or you exit, you're gonna get attention, whether it's unwanted or not, you're gonna get it. Gonna go over here to the trunk, show you guys the trunk space. I went from a Honda Accord to a CLA250. One of the biggest differences that I noticed was the space. Not just the trunk space, but also the interior as well. It's definitely not big. If you're the type of person who goes to Home Depot a lot, or maybe you go to the grocery store a lot, and you carry a lot of stuff, this might not be the ideal car for you. You know, especially if you have a big family, if you have people and you're carrying stuff at the same time. And by people, I mean, one of the biggest disadvantages of this car is the back seat. And you open the back seat, you can tell right away there's little room. There's little headroom, there's little leg room. That's just very small. And remember, this is a coupe, but it's a 4-door coupe. If you're thinking about getting this car, and if you have tall friends or tall family, just remember that one of the biggest complaints you're gonna get is the lack of room. Now, I'm 5'8", and I'm comfortable like that. That's how my setting is. And you can tell, there's not even a foot of space for your legs in the back. And I'm 5'8". Imagine if you're 6 feet. So I don't want that to be a determining factor whether you buy this car or not, but it's definitely something you want to consider. You know, I think a lot of people, they look at the good stuff about a car, they never look at the bad stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks about this car. And you have to factor that in when you're gonna buy it. There's not a lot of room at all. But nonetheless, still very nice. Gonna go ahead to the front. Right away you can notice, I mean, the front door is a lot bigger than the back door. But not only that, you have little controls over here, little electronic controls. You can tell right away that Mercedes did a very good job in making this car an entry-level luxury car. What I mean by that is that they want you to get in this car, they want you to feel the Mercedes, they want you to drive it just like how any other Mercedes would drive. But they know that you're gonna want something bigger, you're gonna want something faster, you're gonna want something more luxurious. And what I mean by that is that they didn't invest too much money in this car in terms of technology. I mean, this screen isn't touchscreen. Not just that, but you don't really need these controls, especially if you have an iPhone or any type of smartphone. You don't really need that. You know, these controls over here, they kind of obsolete when you have touchscreen. And a lot of people prefer, you know, different screens on their cars, and I do too. I don't really like these knobs, but I knew that when I was buying this car. Because I said to myself, okay, I'll buy this car. Down the road, I'll get a better Mercedes. Which is exactly what they want you to do. They want you to buy this car at the price, whatever it's priced at. And they know that eventually down the road, you're going to want something bigger, something faster, something better. And that's the objective. That's the business strategy with this car. It's a CLA. That's the purpose. Now, the driving is very smooth. The turning is awesome. You know, you could tell this is a car that's meant to be driven for comfort the car isn't super fast. Top speed is 160, but not just that. It's a 2.0 4-cylinder engine, so it's not super fast. It's a 7-speed though, so definitely that's something to take note of. Now, like I said before, this car is very nice on the interior, exterior. You can select your little setting of how you want to drive it, how you want the steering to be, if you want the car to start or stop at red lights, stuff like that. Climate control. You know, little stuff like this gives you the feeling of a Mercedes. Very different than other cars. But as I said before also, Mercedes knows that this isn't a super technologically advanced car. And if you're okay with the little, you know, basically the little teases that Mercedes gives you, and you can work with it, then this car is perfect for you. I can work with it. It's perfect for me. It's more than enough for me, honestly. The compliments I get on this car are always good. Never any negative about this car. I think the price of this car is a little pricey, but at the end of the day, if you want something luxurious, you're gonna pay for it. If you want something that's very aggressive, very fast, you're gonna pay for it. This car, you definitely get what you pay for. I think the money is worth it. And just remember, when you go to the dealership, their job isn't to sell you a good car that makes sense for you. Their job is to just get you in the door and get you out of the door with brand new keys. They don't care if you can't make the lease payments. They don't care if you can't make the payments at all. They don't care if your insurance goes up $300. Their job is to sell you the car, get the commission, and get a new customer, and then hopefully get some referrals out of you. Just always remember that. Always remember to do your homework before you go to the dealership. And if you're thinking about buying this car, remember what I said. There's not a lot of room in the back. It's not a super fast car. It's a small 2.0 4-cylinder engine, but it's a 7-speed. So definitely take note of that. You're gonna get compliments everywhere. Like I said, if you want the attention or not, you're gonna get it. It's just how it is. And if you're thinking about buying this car, just remember,